Despite being the female child in her family and therefore unwanted, my mother was the achiever in her group. She supported her mother, the same one who didn't want her, from the time she was 14 years old. She struggled to make a go of it, and she distinguished herself as a journalist, moving into what had until then been exclusively a man's world, proving that she was as good a writer, and maybe better than most, as good a writer as any man. And then she went into service for our government and achieved a high rank. And after her 10 years overseas, as quite an international figure in her own way, came back to America and again distinguished herself as a reporter and as a public relations expert. She was speechwriter for 2 governors and head of the governor's correspondence section for another governor. And by the time she retired at the age of 73, she had worked for 6 Tennessee governors on the governor's staff. My mother, Marion, left us a rich legacy of love, a rich legacy of accomplishment. But beyond that, because she was indeed a member of what is now called the greatest generation, and lived in a time that encompassed the intensity of World War II, she also left us a rich legacy of history. And as I have opened the boxes, seen the photographs, gone through the memorabilia, and yes, even sifted through old memories, touching her legacy again in my mind and heart, I have come to realize that the historical legacy she left is not for us alone, not just for me and my children. In the course of putting together the exhibit for the Allied Museum of Berlin and doing the other work that I have done to bring my mother's legacy forward, closer into the public eye, I've come to realize that she has left us a rich historical legacy, not only for my family, not only for her descendants, but for our nation. For she was indeed a part of the life of our nation at a very intense time in American history. She was a part of several of America's finest hours. That era encompassing World War II and the need to win it and save the world from domination by Nazi tyranny. The post-war era that followed the war, in which we helped Europe and the peoples of the world pick up the pieces of their shattered worlds, their destroyed villages and cities. And finally, the Berlin blockade and airlift, which in Andrew Czerny's words in his book, The Candy Bombers, he refers to as America's finest hour. For it was a beautiful example of the humanitarian caring Americans hold for others, ultimately for the world. My mother would have resonated very strongly to that wonderful phrase we now see in Berlin, Eine Welt ohne Mauer, one world without walls. That's the world she helped to create. That's the legacy she and others like her have left to us.